what's up? Mark here from the Backpacking Gear Net. Today I'm reviewing the BougeRV JuiceGo 240 watt-hour portable power station. Before we get into this review, it's important that I tell you that BougeRV provided this product for me for free. They don't have any say about this video. They don't get to see it before it comes out. And all the opinions in this are strictly mine. So what a portable power station is it's basically a unit that has a battery and it has ways to connect devices to it so that you can actually power devices out in the field or wherever it is that you may be. And this particular one is interesting for me because this is what would be considered very light for what it stores. So it stores 240 watt hours and it's got a lithium battery. The lithium chemistry is lithium iron phosphate, and that is the safe chemistry. That's the one that's not going to catch fire or explode or any of those horror stories that you've heard on the internet. It's a very stable chemistry. It's a solid state chemistry, so there's nothing sloshing around in there, no liquid. It'll allow about 3,500 recharges, which should be about 10 years of use if you used it every single day. On the front here, there is multiple ways to charge. You got USB-C power delivery ports, and one of them is a 100 watts, and that is both an in and an out. And you have a 30 watt USB-C power port and a 16 watt quick charge port, old-fashioned USB-C. It also has a 12 volt cigarette lighter attachment so that you can plug in things like refrigerators and other things that run off of 12 volts. And it's got this nice little light on the front that you can have on a higher beam, a lower beam, and then it'll allow you to actually do SOS flashing with it. I don't know that that is that big of a deal to have on here, but it does serve a purpose that I'll explain a little bit later. On the back side, you have a standard US outlet, and this is 120 volts alternating AC current so that you can use that for things that require plugging into a wall socket. Now this inverter is only 150 watts of power, so it's not going to power a coffee maker or anything like that, but you know, other small devices you'll be able to power with it. It is a modified sine wave inverter. The other thing is on the back here, you have a fan that it uses so when it starts getting hot, it will actually cool itself down. The construction of this is very nice. It is nice and solid everywhere, and it's got these nice pieces of rubber that actually protrude a little bit, so if you set it on something, it's not going to slide off a counter. It has a handle at kind of the back of it, and this handle is nice and thick. It's a woven material and it's very sturdy, and the handle can also be used for practical things like hanging this in order to use this. For me, I would hang it on like my tripod, because not only would the weight of this make my tripod more balanced if I hang it underneath it, but it will also put it in a good spot for me to plug stuff into it in order to power my cameras and other devices. So that is a good use of that handle. You have an LCD screen on it, and the way you turn this on is you hold the power button down for a few seconds, and then the LCD screen will turn on. That will give you a readout of the battery percentage. It'll tell you if you're drawing any current, because it'll measure everything in watts. It'll tell you watts in and watts out, and watts in is what's charging the device, and watts out is what's going out to your other devices through any of those receptacles that are on here. The way you turn the inverter on is once the power's on, you just take and push this AC button right here. You push it once, and then on the screen here, it'll say AC power is on, and the inverter will come on. If you leave it on for a prolonged period of time without producing at least 1 watt, it will shut itself off. And I think what they said is that is about an hour. If you want it to continue to stay on, say for a refrigerator or something, and you're in a cold environment where it's not cycling at least once every hour, that's where this little light comes in, because if you turn this light on and you put it on the low setting, which is the second one, then it draws 1 watt. So you could have this light on drawing 1 watt and it will still stay on the whole time up to 12 hours with this method. So I like that. This display, even though it's tiny, it's big enough that you can tell what's going on. You can tell what's using power, what's not using power, what your battery percentage is. So that's very useful information. And I like the fact that it does it in percents instead of just in like sections. Like you'll sometimes see batteries where if you have 4 bars, it's full, and then it goes down to 3 bars and so on. I like the percentage because that helps me to know what kind of energy is still left in the battery. So I really like that. This unit can be charged in several ways. Now on the front here, you have a 8mm barrel adapter port, and that can be used for an accessory that you can buy, which is the wall charger. It doesn't come with it, but you can buy that accessory and you can plug it into a wall and charge it. Now, the other thing that that particular spot will do is it'll allow you to plug in solar panels. Now, your solar panels need to be 12 to 32 volts maximum for the voltage that it'll take in. And then you can have up to 10 amps. This will max out at 100 watts of charging. No matter what way you pick, it'll max out 100 watts of charging. In that same receptacle, there is a way to charge in your car, and they provide this cigarette lighter thing for your car so that you can charge it while you're driving or something like that. And it will charge it at up to 100 watts. I tried it in my truck, and I got up into like 70 watts or whatever it was charging at. The battery was also closer to full, so it works really well to be able to use this, and it comes with it. You don't have to pay extra for that. The other thing that comes with it is a USB-C to USB-C cable. And this cable is another way to charge it. And if you look on the front here, you have that 100-watt USB-C in or out power delivery port. So you can plug this into any sort of way that you charge laptops that use USB-C or other such devices, which so many of us have now, and charge it up that way. And I think they assume most people have some way to charge it when you do it that way. And so that's why they provide this cable, but they don't necessarily give you a charger. Now, I can tell you that with this device, you cannot charge both with a solar panel and with a USB-C. It's one or the other. It will only charge one of those ways, not both at the same time. The other thing is you can charge this device while you're using it. So it does have pass-through charging abilities. That way you can be using it and say have solar panels hooked up to it and still be charging as a way to make the battery last longer. The other thing that I think is great about this is the weight of it is 6.2 pounds. And a lot of you are going to go, well, Mark, you know, I'm not going to carry 6 pounds while I'm backpacking. That's true for most people, but some people, you might carry this, maybe on a day hike, maybe on a backpacking trip, and for a specific reason. Now, there's people who like to go out away from society and pack in and do a backpacking trip where they camp, and they'll bring a telescope, and some telescopes require power. And so this is a great option for those kind of people, or even if you're just driving in, you know, having something to power your telescope at 6 pounds, it's much more reasonable weight than some of the other options. So another great purpose for somebody like me who makes YouTube content is I can take 6 pounds out into the field that will essentially recharge my cameras, recharge drones, anything that needs to be used in order to film my videos. And yes, I would not carry this on a long backpacking trip, but a lot of times when I'm actually intentionally filming, I'm taking and going out just a couple of miles and setting up somewhere in order to film multiple products that I've been using and testing. So for that particular kind of trip, this would work really well for me because I end up carrying 6 pounds worth the batteries and everything anyways. So having something all in one unit like this is much more convenient for me. And the size of it, as you can see, here's my hand. The size of it is small enough that it's easy to stick in my backpack. And so, you know, even though the average backpacker would never want to carry this, somebody like me who's going out and filming, or if you're doing documentary work or scientific expeditions or anything else of that nature, you would love this. And then, of course, doing camping, just regular car camping and stuff. You know, for me, my wife uses a CPAP machine, and if you have the humidifier either off or on its lowest setting, you can use this for a whole weekend for a CPAP machine. Now, they gave me a coupon code, and it's down in the description below. It's good through January 10th of 2025. So use that coupon code to get 28% off, which is a really good deal. Please hit that like and subscribe. And other than that, I'll see you on the next one.